Is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. I'm super pumped. We've got a very cool guest with us today. He is an author, a speaker, an entrepreneur, and the founder and CEO of the C-Level Roundtable. Please welcome Jeff Cohen. Jeff, thank you for joining us today. Can you please tell the audience a little bit about your background?
Oh my gosh. Well, first off, thank you. I love your energy. It is always great to come into a room when people know where to go.
Yeah.
So I have been pretty much an entrepreneur my whole life. There's some great stories about that in my new book. I'll share that in a minute, but I've started a half a dozen companies. I grew a tech company from nothing to 50 people in about 2 years. We had great success. And then in 2007, we had greater failure, and my life changed forever.
Sure.
I became very depressed. I wanted to escape from the world.
Yeah.
So just imagine like going from having all of these great people that were on my team, to suddenly the market crashed and every single one of our clients that were like big companies, B of A, Wells Fargo, State of California, Kaiser Permanente, right?
Yeah.
All saying, hey, we love you guys, you're fired.
Wow.
I went into a tailspin. I got no sleep, went through like, am I going to make payroll?
Sure.
It was a tough time. And the thing that saved me then was I was making these energy bars for my kids and my family, and everyone loved them.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine came over. His name was Jeff too. And he said, hey, can I bring some of these to work? And I said, yeah, sure. Here you go.
Yeah.
Called me up the next day and said, Jeff, can you come down here? I'm like, why? Well, they want to buy them from you.
Nice.
I said, oh. Suddenly I was selling energy bars to 20 TV shows and movies on the Warner Brothers lot.
Very cool.
And it kind of grew from there. My sister was in real estate and she joined me, got us into Whole Foods. And before I knew it, I was on Shark Tank. And
wow.
Yeah.
That's neat.
It was. And because of my business failure, I can now claim officially to be the only entrepreneur on that show that was ever called radioactive. Kevin O'Leary said, you'll never get a bank. To me, you're radioactive. I'm out.
Yeah.
And that was season 1 of Shark Tank. But Robert Herjavec, my hat is off to him because it really did hurt, to hear that.
Yeah,
and he stood up and he argued with Kevin for about 20 minutes, and I got to see the whole thing. And the thing he said that was amazing to me was, the measure of a man is not how many times you fall.
Right.
It's how many times you get back up. And, since then, yes, I've gone through an entire transformation. And all of that is in the book that I wrote and we've just come out with, and has hit #1 on Amazon like the very first week. So I'm pumped. All of those stories are in there so people can really get like what it's like to go through, the eye of the needle.
Yeah.
How painful it is. And when you get out, you can actually have a life.
Yeah, for sure. That's quite the story. So, I think with success comes failure. If you don't experience some kind of failure, you really don't understand what success is. My late husband and I, we had experienced a similar thing with failure around that time in 2007, 2008, when everything burst. We had a large manufacturing company. We remanufactured transmissions. And that he was like the guinea pig for the bank. They pulled the loan, even though they were profitable, even though we were profitable at that time, and we had to start all over. We lost probably about $10 million. And, probably more than that, if you want to talk about the value in the business, because the business did about 30 million per year, 32 million per year. We had about 150 to 200 employees. And so we had to start all over with just like, borrowing money from relatives, taking loans on the house, and we rebuilt rebuilt very quickly. But he kind of went into a tailspin around that time too, going, feeling that failure and losing so much. It was very hard to come back from that. So I can relate to your struggle, but sounds like you were able to bounce back fairly quickly and had an incredible experience. So what happened with the energy bars?
We grew the business, and I found out it was a business I hated.
Oh,
So I went back to work at IBM. I had an amazing boss there when I worked there the first time, and she opened doors back up for me, and it was fabulous. And it was during that time that I started actually doing some self-assessment.
okay.
I was going through a divorce because I pushed my whole family away when things got bad, and that sucked. But in 2013, I took this program called the Team Management Leadership Program, which was a 2-year program. And the very first thing I did was I did a self-assessment.
Okay.
And I noticed something.
What's that?
I was a really shitty boss.
Oh,
I was the only reason people wanted to work for me was we had momentum. What we were doing was hot. They loved it. And I did not treat people the way I would have wanted to be treated. I was cocky and arrogant, and I ran away from things. The level of integrity I had sucked. I mean, it was just not good. And it gave me the opportunity to start working with people so that no business goes through what I went through ever again. And I instantly put together a group of about 50 CEOs and entrepreneurs, and we were looking at what did not work in businesses, and we found it.
Yeah.
We found the common thread that doesn't work in businesses.
What is
that? There
are
all these systems out there that they tell you, you should do this, then you should do that, then you should do the other thing. Or they say, you need the right person doing the right thing at the right time.
Yeah.
They don't tell you what all that is. And we figured it out. It's very simple. It's effective communication. Now, everybody has their own definition of that.
Yeah.
And that's the issue.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own definition of that. And I want to just share a short story with you about how effective communication works in my life.
Okay.
So people can benefit from that.
For sure. I mean, communication is important. If we don't communicate effectively, a lot of things can get lost in translation. I'm experiencing that right now.
Right. Well, just notice, Denise, that while we're in this, right, what's happening is in whoever's listening, they've got this little demon up here. It's bouncing off the walls of their brain,
right,
saying, I need to get my laundry. I need to go to lunch. I need to wash the dishes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I'll say something that'll trigger them and they'll come back.
Hey Dad, how you been? What's going on?
Well, not too much. Spring cleaning time.
Well, did you weed whack? Did you get the carpets cleaned? 'Cause I know Mom's all about that, so I want to make sure you're ready to go.
Well, yeah. I got the gutters clean. That's about it.
That's it? Well, when I said weed whack and all that and the carpet, I kind of meant like the Manscaped 4.0. It's a little more personal.
I understand, yeah.
Works awesome.
Have you tried this?
I have tried it and it works wonders. It really does. Yeah.
Okay. This is pretty cool. And see, it comes with an LED light, and I understand it's waterproof.
It is waterproof. It works well. I tried it. It's a good product. It's a great product. I've tried other ones, and they're just so noisy, and they don't cut very well.
Wow, that's really good, Mike. Where do we get this?
Well, you can get it at manscaped.com. And while you're at manscaped.com, you know that we got a code so we get it cheaper.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of a discount can we get?
We can get it at label-free 20, and it gives you 20% off the product, and it gives us free shipping. And I've tried some of the other products there because they got these all new premier products. Like this here, it's a deodorant.
Now, is it for underarm or other places, or
I tried, but it's for the underarm.
Okay.
That's where it's at. And you can also get it at manscaped.com. Same code. We're using the code again. Label free 20. Label
we
free
get
20%
off and free shipping.
Free
as
shipping.
well.
I mean, how can you go wrong with that, right?
Wonderful.
Here's a story, and this occurred while I was writing the book.
Okay.
So I noticed, first off, we all have triggers. There are words that trigger us. My very first chapter, called Grand Theft Auto.
Okay.
It's about a time I stole a car. And I developed.
I gotta go find this book in my email and start reading it.
Yeah, it's where I developed the biggest trigger in my life,
Oh wow. Okay.
and I've carried it with me my entire life. And when you say the one word in just the right tone with the right words next to it,
Yeah.
I'll pull out my shield, I'll grab my sword, and I will protect and defend myself till
Yeah.
the cows come home.
Yeah.
We all have those,
Yes.
and we all say those things to the people that work for us. And the impact of that is that you lose them.
Yeah.
They're gone. For me, I'll waste 20 to 30 minutes of your time telling you why.
Yeah.
Other people will do the same. And then after the conversation, they're unproductive.
Right.
They're trying to figure out, how do they recover from that? Or can they recover from that? Or do they need to go get a new job?
Sure. Yeah.
But when it comes to effective communication, it all starts with you saying something and knowing that the other person heard it.
Yeah.
And so my wife and I are foster to adopt parents, and we have this gorgeous little 1-year-old girl.
Oh.
Yeah. And we went to visit some friends in San Diego and stayed at their house. And my wife and her friend went to an event at night. And my friend and I were with his 7-year-old daughter and my 1-year-old. And we took the wagon, we put them both in the wagon and walked to dinner. And after dinner, we went to frozen yogurt. And on the way to frozen yogurt, I decided I would walk in front because everything went great on the way out. And I turned my head as we were pulling up to frozen yogurt, and there was my 1-year-old standing up in the wagon, in tears, crying. And I had my friend stop. I picked her up and I comforted her.
Yeah.
And then I put her back down. I turned to the 7-year-old and I said, "Hey, honey, did you notice what was going on there?"
Yeah.
And she said, "Yeah, I told you." I said, "Wow." And then she went right back to her video game. And I said, "Hey, honey, can I ask you a favor?" She looked back up. I said, "Can you make sure next time that I answer you?"
Yeah.
And she said, "These are the famous 2 words. We all say them today.
Yeah.
Got it."
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then she went back down to her video game. And I didn't want to be a dick or anything, but
Sure.
I wasn't sure. She got it.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is the way it is at work, at home, right?
Yeah.
So I just asked her, I said, "Hey, honey, I'm just curious. What did you get?" And she stopped moving her fingers on the screen with her head still looking at the screen for 15 seconds. And then she lifted her head up and she looked at me. And she said, "I should make sure that you hear that I hear you answer me."
Yeah.
I said, "Yes, thank you. That would be amazing."
That's good.
Now, I was pretty sure she got it, but 2 weeks later, we went back down to San Diego, and she was going to play with my daughter and her friends.
Okay.
And I pulled her aside, and I said, "Hey, honey, do you remember that thing I asked you about last time we were here?" She goes, "Oh, you mean if I say something to you, I should make sure I hear you if you answer me?"
Okay.
I can't tell you how important that was to me at that moment.
Yeah, for sure.
She actually got it. The neurons in her brain connected the dots. And that's what's missing in communication today.
Yeah.
People say things, then we say, "Got it." And we go on to the next thing because we're multitasking.
Yeah.
We may have got it somewhere in there,
Sure.
but how do you know it registered until somebody repeats what you said back to you with the level of commitment that you have?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean,
Don't
that's a
know.
good point. That's a good point. So is that what brings us to your book? And can you show us your book?
Absolutely. So it's called Count Onable.
Okay.
It is a practical guide, meaning step by step, how do you become count onable? And the subtitle is Lift, Shift, and Empower You and your team.
Yeah.
And I have the number one thing about this book is that we all live in a world where people want you to be accountable.
Yes.
Accountability sucks. People don't want to be accountable.
I like being accountable, but you're right. People don't like to be accountable. They want to do whatever they want to do. They feel entitled, and then they don't want to have to pay the price if they make a mistake or are being held accountable for their actions.
Well, that's where it really is, right? It's
Yeah.
all about the being held accountable. They don't see an upside in it. Now, business owners generally do.
Yeah.
When you have a business, your relationship to accountable is different. You're probably the only person in your company that really is accountable, and everybody else comes in saying, I want to help. What they're really saying is, I want to do what I do best for you.
Yeah.
And what often happens is we want to take that.
Right.
And then we say, hey, by the way, can you also wash the dishes for us? Can you do the laundry for us?
Yeah.
Those are things they don't want to do. But if they want the job,
They've got to do
they're
it.
probably going to say yes.
Right.
And guess what? You've just taken an A employee and made them a B employee because they're not doing the A job anymore, and they will begin disappointing you from day one.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So the whole point to this book, Countable, is it weaves together important concepts like aligning your team, building trust and maintaining it, because trust is always going away,
Yeah.
and having people know and be confident about what they're good at,
Yeah.
what they have strengths in, and what they love doing.
That's important.
When they have that, you can count on them in those areas.
Right.
They may actually get to a point with you with the trust is working and you're aligned as a team where they can say, you can't count on me to do the dishes.
Right.
When you have that, your performance explodes, because now you're no longer waiting 3 or 4 weeks for someone to do something that they hate doing,
Right. Right.
that they're not good at. That's a weakness of theirs. You've actually identified someone else that excels in that area, and you don't have to be disappointed at someone because someone's actually going to get it done today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very powerful. Very powerful. Is this some of the stuff that you found that was missing in the multiple businesses that you've, with the CEOs that you talk to?
Absolutely. This all came out of working with 300 companies over the last 8 years.
Okay.
And before that, when I had my technology company, we implemented agile software development methods.
Okay.
So Countable is an agile management method. It gives people the ability to bob and weave as necessary while ensuring, from the CEO to the chief cook and bottle washer that's doing the work,
Yeah.
and is really important to the company, that it comes together and you're on top of it. The last thing I'll just share, because I know we're
Getting close on time. Yes, we are.
close here, is we often trust people to do things.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And we as business owners feel like they violate the trust when they don't do them.
That's true.
They as employees feel like we violated the trust by the way that we manage it, which is we don't. So instead of assigning something and coming back in 4 weeks and saying, is it done yet? And triggering the heck out of people so that they get defensive. How about we actually take the ownership of it on? And in doing that, use a tool, which, by the way, all the tools are on the website. You can download them.
Okay.
Called the Priority Action List, or the PAL.
And what's the website?
It's countable.com.
There we go. All right.
COUNTONABLE.com. And when you actually have, like Ronald Reagan said in the 80s, trust and verify.
Yeah.
I give you the whole meeting schedule and what to say in the meetings in the book. It's very simple. And you trust your people to get something done. And then you have a verify meeting where you just find out, like, is this something that they're doing? Are they committed to doing it? If not, we know every week instead of sometime in the future. And it builds strong relationships between people.
Yeah.
And it also helps you close the gaps in your business very fast.
I love it. And, as a business owner and having multiple employees, that's something that sounds very powerful and it would have been very useful back then because I was not the greatest leader either. And so I think that this is a great book, especially in today's world. So I love it. Where else can people connect with you, contact you, and learn a little bit more about what you do?
Yeah, that's great. So I'm very active on social media, a lot of posts going out on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, creating a private community for people that want to join. So if you're interested in participating on the Count Honorable website, go ahead and send us your information. Just say, I want to be updated, and we'll update you, and you're invited.
Awesome.
You are invited. Come and join us in a discussion, in a group, review the book, and just see, one of the thing about the book is every chapter is 3 to 4 pages long.
Okay.
Just like that story I told about my friend's daughter and him.
Yeah.
That you will get something like that from every single chapter.
Love it. That's awesome.
And it's fun. It's a fun read. I still have fun reading it. I can't tell you how many times that's happened.
That's amazing. I love it. Well, I will put the links in the show notes, you guys. So don't hesitate to go check out the book, go buy it on Amazon, go check out Jeff on all the social media. I'll make sure those links are in the show notes. And Jeff, this is the part of the show where I like to ask for any last words of wisdom or advice. So what would you like to leave with the audience today?
It's really very simple and short. Stop being just accountable. Be count-onable.
Yeah. Perfect. I love that. On that note, thank you so much for being a guest. Please keep us updated on any new projects, new books, whatever you might have going on in the future. And so we'll bring you back to update the audience. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. Please don't forget to follow, share, comment, rate, review, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.